wood-fired Pulpon de Vacio on the Somerset grill. Right, first things first, we're going to light fire, then we'll get the meat ready while the fire burns down to embers. We're using the Somerset grill today. It's been a bit of a forgotten grill for me, despite the fact that it's one of my favourites. We've been through a house move. It's sat over here in this corner. So I've cleaned the grill out, got rid of all the old crap, all the ash, the leaves, everything that collected in there. This has been sitting outside without a cover on. Cleared off some flaky paint, just gave it a bit of a rub down. Cleared up all the grill grates. The fire bricks on the inside, they're in pretty good condition, all things considered. So one nice fire in this is going to get it really nice and sorted out, and we're going to start using it a bit more. So wood choice today, I'm going with ash logs and beech splits. The ash logs are going to burn super nicely. I'm going to burn those down in the ember maker at the back there, and they'll feed us with the embers we need to keep the cook going. And the beech splits are going to create beautiful embers. So I'm going to light a fire right in the middle of the fire bricks there. That's going to give us our first set of embers to cook on. Right, let's get our fires built and then we'll come back to this meat. I want to create embers quickly, so I'd put my thinnest splits on the top of the pile. Get it lit. Right, the fires are lit. It's probably going to take like an hour for those beech splits to be ready, so let's get the prep finished on this beef, and then that can sit and come up to room temperature while we wait for the fire to ember down. So this is what's called a Pulpon de Vacio. It's an Argentinian cut. To the best of my knowledge, this is off the bavette. So, you know, if you're used to getting bavette steaks from the butcher or from the supermarket, same cut, just a bit bigger. This has been dry brined, and when I dry brined it last night, it was falling apart a little bit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run a knife through here, cook these two separately. That's probably going to come to temperature quicker. I've offered some to the neighbour, so I'll probably run that round when it's cooked, finish this, carve and have that to eat tonight. So there we go, a little bit of trim. That is just very bavette steak-like, really obvious grain in it, so that's going to cook real fast. So we're going to try and give that quite a hot sear. The plan with the rest of the Vacio is to cook it at distance, basically. Almost want to roast it, so we're going to get a nice slow sear, some nice wood smoke into it, but not like an aggressive steak type sear. Obviously quite a lot of fat on one side, so we don't want to cook that too fast. So we'll start probably fat side down, and then when we feel like the timing's right, we're going to flip it over, finish the bottom side. Right, I'm just going to leave these to dry out a little bit. We'll force dry them before we put them over the heat. I'm going to go wash up and I'll see you in a bit. We're about 30 minutes in, a nice bed of embers forming, but we want to see this wood fire, that strong flame, disappear before we start thinking about cooking. So, a little while yet to go. Okay, awesome. It's been about 50 minutes. That ember bed is exactly where we need it, so it's time to get this meat on. Let me just show you where it's up to. So I've just smashed the last few of those splits up. We've got like a super hot ember bed. I actually can't get anywhere near it. We're going to pull the front of the tray up. That's going to restrict our airflow. And we've got the ash logs burning at the back, just continuing to feed us more embers through here. Let's go. I'm just patting these dry. We all know that moisture is the enemy of a good sear, so I'm just taking any surface liquid off. And I'm just going to slightly score where we've got some fat. This meat was dry brined last night, so really decent amount of salt. I use about a tablespoon for every kilo. This is just over 2 kilos of meat in total. Just all over it everywhere, sits in the fridge overnight. That salt's drawn into the meat and it's just beautiful wall-to-wall seasoning. I'm going to get these grill grates on. I'm going to cook this one at a decent height above the fire using the hand test. We want about 3 or 4 seconds before I have to pull my hand out. This one is so thin, it's not going to cook at the same level, so what I'm actually going to do is cook this dirty. I'm going to chuck it right on those wood embers. I reckon it'll cook through real quick, and then I can take that over to the neighbour. So I'd say the heat level feels about right, but I have just put those cold grill grates on. They're going to heat up, so we'll just keep an eye on that. It feels about right at the moment. Yeah, so I'm significantly hotter here in front of the grill grates than I am where the grill grates are, so we're actually going to drop this down a little bit. And we'll just play it by ear. Yeah, so really happy with that now. I'm going to give this about 10 or 15 minutes, keeping a really close eye on it, just to make sure we don't go too hot. And then let's drop this door down and we'll cook that spare bit of steak right in the wood coals there. See you in a bit. Just going by ear. I'm getting quite a lot of sizzle, probably a bit more than I want, so just making a judgment call to bring this away from the heat a bit. So yeah, gone up again. Last thing I want to do really is cook this too fast. The meat can handle it. This is like a big steak, so we could easily just sear it, bring it up to temperature, rest it and slice it. But I just want to give this a bit longer. You know, I've got the time, a bit more time over wood smoke, a bit more flavour. So we're just looking to cook this really nice and gently. I mean, I'm talking myself into going even higher. Yeah, okay, really happy with that now. I love V-grills. I think they're absolutely brilliant. You know, collecting the fat, keeps everything clean. You can use that fat if you want to. But what you do tend to get is you get hot spots and cool spots. The gap between the grills tend to be hotter, and the V protects the meat, keeping it a bit cooler. So I just make sure I move it around a lot to show a little bit of a different part of the joint to the gaps between the grills directly to the fire. Oh man, just smells amazing. And those ash logs were absolutely perfect for the start of this cook, but I have switched to adding beech splits. Just because of their size, they're creating embers that can fall down between the grates of the ember maker just that little bit quicker. So for this cook, a little bit more useful, or maybe a mix of the two really. I'm going to treat this exactly like that picanha I cooked recently, albeit I'm trying to cook it a little bit slower. We're going to cook it fat side down until we start to see some bleeding through on the top, then we'll flip, cook from the other side. It's looking absolutely gorgeous. That fat's starting to render. Banging. I'd love to be able to cook by feel, but I'm going to go grab a probe. I'm going to wash up, and then let's cook this little bit of steak in the coals here. Just grab the blow poke. If you feel your coals dropping in temperature, you can move them around a little bit, or you can just blow the ash off them. Works really nicely. Yeah, we've got a good gradient of temperature now, so this wants to flip, so let's do that now. Nice, right, let's get this door down, grab this bit of steak, cook it in the coals. So, coal bed is still super hot, so this is going to cook real quick. You know, we're only less than an inch thick. We don't want this to go over. We're just going to go for it, keep a real close eye on it and go from there. So the science of dirty cooking like this is that as soon as you put your steak on the coals, you're going to extinguish that top layer. So whilst you might think charcoal at like 600-700 degrees C on the surface would burn it, actually the steak hitting that surface stops the burning process. So done this a few times, but not that many times. Touch wood. This is going to be absolutely gorgeous. As I say, I'm going to take this part for the neighbour, so I don't want to mess it up. So I'm going to flip this every 30 to 60 seconds, hoping we're going to get good colour by doing that. Putting it on new hot coals every time. We're not going to kill our coals completely, though we're trying to cook the Vacio on. Hopefully we get good colour and cook like a perfect medium rare. I've actually just clocked that this is actually quite a lean cut. With something like this, I'd probably add just a little bit of fat just to help the caramelisation along. Don't know if you do that dirty cooking or not with such a lean cut of steak, but I'm not going to now. I don't want to risk too much of a flare up, but you know that might hinder the colour we're going to get on this. Seriously hot work on a day like today. Right, let's check the temp. Just want a couple more degrees on this. We're about 45 in the centre, 50 at the thinner end, so we're there and thereabouts, but just want to get a last little bit of colour. Doesn't look the most appealing at this point, but we're going to give that a brush off and then we'll slice it and I'll show you what I'm taking next door. Get a bit of a kitchen roll to make this a little bit less grey and unappealing. Now, if I'm really honest, it's not looking much less grey and unappealing. There is some nice colour under there, some decent mild reaction, but it's not the very best. Probably not going to give this to the neighbour. He can have a bit of this. Give this a 5-minute rest. We'll slice it, see how we did on the cook. On the inside, I'm sure it'll eat well. It smells absolutely amazing. Yeah, another lesson in wood-fired cooking. We're not too far now off where we want to be with the main cut of meat, so I'm going to drop the grill down, give this a final sear, try and get some really good colour on the bottom, and then we're going to rest that too. I'll get some veggies and stuff cooked and we'll carve in a bit. And we're just going to keep this moving, move it around a bit, then I'll flip it, and we'll just bring the sear up on both sides. Right, I'm going to try laser sharp, stay on that, but let's give this a slice, just see how we got on in the middle, and we'll give it a little try as well. Sort of interested to know if this darkness, I mean our cook is absolutely perfect. This sort of darkness, it's almost like what you get if you put your, if you cook in the flame, that sort of blackening. And I've not had that with charcoal before, so I wonder if that's the thing about dirty cooking with wood embers. Not sure. I mean, how is that for a bit of steak? Sliced across a very obvious grain with bavette, so it's just going to fall apart. Tastes amazing. It's not got a brilliant sear. There's bits of fat that have caught a good sear, and I think the issue there is I should have added some fat. Just a little bit of rapeseed oil would have just brought that caramelisation through. But I don't know, let me know in the comments. I don't know whether then cooking it dirty like that would have been a bad idea. But it's delicious, and it's not acrid at all. So I'm going to run this over to the neighbour. Beautifully seasoned, beautifully cooked, lessons learned. What more could you want? Right, I'll take this in, I'm going to get a bigger board, we'll pull that off soon, we'll give it a rest. So we've got different thicknesses here, so I'm pulling at slightly different temperatures. This is in the sort of early to mid 50s, here we're in the higher 50s, so we're going to be approaching more like a medium here and a medium rare here. But that's spot on. I've got another neighbour coming for some of this in a bit. He can have his cooked exactly how he wants. We'll have the rarer stuff, hopefully everyone's happy. Right, this doesn't really want too long of a rest. We'll give it about 10 or 15 minutes. So I'm going to go prep some veggies. We'll come out and cook those over the wood embers. I'm going to use the fat that's come off this meat to baste those veggies just to get them cooked through and caramelised. And then we'll come back, carve this, and then we'll eat. So last little load of embers from the logs burning down at the back there. We're going to let that go out now. We don't need any more embers, so we don't need to use any more fuel. And this is something I saw someone do this week. Just going to use our beef fat that's run off that steak to baste the tender stem. I'd normally add a bit of fat with tender stem, but we've got this fat here, no waste and all that. It's going to make the broccoli taste absolutely unreal. I guess in hindsight, this is probably what the V-grates and the drip tray are for. I've always just assumed it was cleanliness, but this makes a lot of sense. We use so much tender stem over fire. For me, it's just like one of those vegetables where fire makes all the difference. Super healthy, super forgiving. It's not to love. And our asparagus. And in about 5 minutes, we're going to be eating. Right, veggies all finished, so let's raise it up just so it'll stay warm, and let's go carve this beef and see how we did. Okay, so that's our rest done. Just going to show you the grain on this because it's super, super obvious. See, our grain's running down through here, so we want to slice that way. That's going to give us that pull-apart beef that I showed you with that little bit of steak earlier. So to do that, I'm just going to cut this in half this way. Oh, it's absolutely perfect. It's rare into medium rare, which is absolutely perfect for this cut of meat. Probably could have just had a slightly longer rest, but you know, as always, I've got a hungry wife inside. So we come back to this grain. Grain's running this way, so we want to slice across that. And let's go. And let's just take a look at one of these. So that's absolutely gorgeous. Nearly wall-to-wall medium rare, just slightly over on the bottom here, but that's not a big deal. It's got this delicious, rendered, slightly crispy fat on the top. That's what we're going for. I'm going to eat this slice, and then I'm going to eat from the lean a bit because unfortunately I've got a bit of a gut at the moment. And just see we get this beautiful pull-apart beef. So tender. The grain in bavette is so obvious that as long as you slice across it, it's just like melts in your mouth. Just have a little bit of this with the fat on it. Tell you what, interesting. I've never cooked this cut before. I've sliced across these two grains, and it's like the bit on the top here. It's got a different grain direction. This bit, let's have a look at it. So, grain on the bottom piece running downwards like that. Yeah, grain on this top piece is running across. So the Vacio, I think, is 3 parts of the cow: bavette, skirt, and flank, I think. The Pulpon de Vacio is the bavette, and I think a little bit of the skirt. So I guess that's what I've got here. I've got my bavette on the bottom, skirt on the top, and yeah, the grain is running in a different direction. So if we cut this bit across this grain, then we're probably going to see that tender, there you go, that pull apart result that we got on the bottom bit. So if you can learn from something today, this Pulpon de Vacio, 2 cuts, separate them before you carve. Make sure you cut both across the grain. But I must say, that bit that I've cut with the grain, even though it's chewy, it's not ridiculously so. So just really good quality bit of meat, cooked nice and slowly. Just haven't got that pull apart feel to it that we had on the other piece. So let's slice this. Let's get it presented, get that veg off, and then we're going to be able to eat. Right, so we want to cut across there. There we go. Ooh, chef's treat. Right, let's get this presented. I am not a detailed chef, and this is one of those jobs that if you just take a little bit more time, it's going to look so much better. It's not my bag. There we go. I think at this point, I'm probably just having veg for my dinner. There's our wood-fired veg. I know a lot of people, including one of my mates, Matt, think that vine on tomatoes are very old school, very 90s, but I haven't got time to change it, and it's just for us. So there we go, Pulpon de Vacio. This again is from iDevour. Getting all my beef from them at the moment. You know, great delivery service, sustainable and top quality meat. So can't shout out those guys anymore. I know, I'm supposed to be selling logs. Ash logs, beech splits on the Somerset grill. It's time for me to eat. See you soon.